I had just returned to Georgia from a reunion party in Texas. I was sick during the whole reunion and had kept any food or water down for days on end. Once I arrived back in Atlanta, Georgia, I immediately tried to get on a flight to San Antonio, Texas. My husband and 3 children were already there waiting me arrival. We had previously planned that I would fly out to San Antonio soon after my reunion. We had planned a family vacation there in the months before this trip. After I arrived on board the flight to Texas, I felt extremely dizzy and disoriented. I began to have cramps and spasms in my lower legs. I had kept any water down for several days, but never dreamed of canceling our family vacation over it. I didn't want to disappoint me kids, who'd been looking forward to this vacation for months. But I was getting more and more ill. Suddenly I knew my body, my health, was in real trouble. I knew I needed a doctor and I could die. Something in me soul just knew it all of a sudden. A flight stewardess must have read my thoughts because she approached me with great concern on her face. I believe I just went to sleep or something. About 45 minutes later, I was looking down at myself from the ceiling of the airplane. Somehow, I could see around the corner into the meal preparation area too, and at the same time, I was looking down at myself. Then simultaneously could see straight down the aisle from the back of the plane. All the while I could see in that very moment the flight stewardess around the corner preparing food. All the while in that very second I was looking straight down at me body as if I was perched on the ceiling. I knew something extraordinary was happening and I immediately suspected I had died or something. I kept looking down from the ceiling at myself, trying to see if I was breathing. I wasn't ready to die. At one point, it appeared to me that my chest was rising and falling, and at another point, I couldn't be sure. Then I found myself outside of the airplane near the wing. The clouds were white fluffy popcorn looking and it seemed so much brighter outside. I knew this couldn't be so, because it was nighttime outside and yet the clouds were so bright like it was high noon. Then, in the next moment, I was somewhere else altogether. I was standing motionless above a large body of water. The water was a brilliant deep cobalt blue color. The water was so alluring to look at, as if it was alive or something. In front of me was a very plain-looking wooden desk with a book placed squarely in the middle. On the other side of this desk stood a brilliant being wearing a vibrant white robe. Every fiber of my being understood this being to be me Savior Jesus Christ, although I did not look directly at him. I stared slightly over towards his direction, so that I could make out his appearance. Something inside of me told me that I wasn't spiritually ready yet to look directly at him. I also knew I'd never want to be anywhere else, if I took in the total personage of him. Way off in the distance, to the right of me was a dreary rocky shoreline. A figure appeared to be on the shoreline pacing back and forth. It was a man. I understood him to be lost. As he continued to pace, I tried to focus in on him to see if I recognized him. I never could get an accurate enough view of him. The knowledge seemed to enter into me that I was connected with this individual in such a way that led me back to Jesus as well. I often wondered who that man was. I have to admit, I was never given an answer. I think it was something I was to figure out on my own. I'm not sure at what point I came back or came to. I just remember hearing that the plane was in its final descent into San Antonio. I was still sick with constant agonizing cramps and spasms in me lower legs. The pain was just unreal. But I was alive and determined to get the medical help I needed once we landed.